If you are in a theater, and not like a movie theater, like a theater, I must implore you to add this to your watch later list and close the window. This is the only time you will hear me ever telling you to stop watching a video. If you are not in a theater, however, continue watching. How appropriate, of course, that I'm telling this story during a thunderstorm that is supposed to be lasting all night, but is in a down period. The remaining threat is theoretical, but there is anecdotal past evidence that such a threat is real and tangible. Similar, of course, to the story I am about to tell. I am going to tell the story of the curse of the Scottish play. More specifically, how I invoked the curse of the Scottish play upon my school's production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. Before I get into details about my specific acquiring of this curse, we gotta talk about what this is. So the Scottish play, for anyone who's unsure, is Macbeth by William Shakespeare. All you theater nerds out there are cringing. If I was in a theater, I would be cringing too. All the world's a stage, you may say. Well, there's only so much I can do. The Scottish play is so called because it takes place in Scotland, and Macbeth himself and Lady Macbeth herself are Scottish. Like, it's about as Scottish as you can get. And people call it the Scottish play so they don't have to use its title, Macbeth, because, so the legend goes, the title, Macbeth, is cursed. There are different reasons for why it is cursed. Some people say that Shakespeare stole the witches' curses from actual witches and did not compensate them, and so they cursed his play. Other people say that Macbeth, when first released, did not do well, and so Shakespeare himself cursed it so that no one would have better fortune putting on the play than he. However you want to assume it acquired it, Macbeth is cursed. And the curse has evolved over the years. It used to be that all productions of the Scottish play were cursed. And slowly it evolved to be so severe that the name of the play itself is a curse. And so the story goes, if you say Macbeth in a theater, the production that is currently being put on will be cursed from that point forward until its conclusion. And if there is no production, congratulations, you have cursed whatever is coming up next. I think. I'm not sure about that one. You're skeptical, I can tell. And you have every reason to be. I was skeptical too. Some of you might go to Wikipedia and look up the list of all the terrible things that have happened because of this. Others of you will recall anecdotal evidence. Still others of you will stalk the tag on Tumblr. But none of this is really convincing, because how on earth could this curse really exist? How could such a thing actually be? Right? That's what I thought too. And so, being a scientist, I wrote down my hypothesis. The curse of the Scottish play is false, and I decided I needed to test it. Now, I'm not stupid. I might be skeptical, but I'm not stupid. And so I waited until our last day of shows. Because if it is actually a curse, I wanted it to have the minimal effect possible. So, backstage, before the production begins, by myself, so no one can bear witness, which is not good for science, but so no one can get into a weird mindset and sort of betray the production themselves, I say the name of the Scottish play. Now, legend has it, you can salvage yourself if you atone, which usually involves exiting the theater. By this point, I could not. I waited this long just so I had no choice but to proceed. because we were too close to curtain call for our director to let us open doors, because we were in a gym this time for our play, and lo and behold, gym doors are loud. So here's what happened. Stage crew did not get any of the set pieces in the first, second, or fifth act in the right locations, including making it impossible for our Titania to jump on and off her rock safely and in character because it was so close to the edge of the stage. Number 2. A myriad of props were misplaced. Just, from our lanthorn to shirts, I think, or ties, to scripts, to what have you. Number 3. Similar to props, our naked bottom / ass hat, or ass head. Well, it was a hat, I suppose, for our actor. Did not get his glasses in time to successfully leave the stage the way he's supposed to. He just fumbled around and, seriously, damaged some set stuff. But that's fine, whatever. 3 times, significant chunks of lines were skipped. This is our final performance, by the way. We know the show down cold. And, of course, someone, during intermission, took a cigarette break. And if you know anything about me, you know I cannot breathe in the presence of someone who has smoked recently. So I spent Act 2 in a binder, unable to breathe, and then in a binder, unable to breathe, with a bunch of hot clothing on. And so, from an audience perspective, the show was fine. The theater gods were merciful, the curse was light. But to anyone familiar with the show, very clearly things had gone wrong. And if I had any indication that the curse of the Scottish play was false, I no longer do. I'm not superstitious, but this is the exception that proves the rule. Some of you are laughing and preaching coincidence, and to you, I say, why don't you test it? I have no interest in testing it again. I hope you have a great day.